Well, hello there. How are you doing? Oh, me? I'm doing good. It's a new day, you know? And sometimes, the old days over, and then, I don't know, I always feel the need to vamp about nothing for too long. But hello, everyone. I'm George Tracy, if you don't already know me. Joining me today in this very serious discussion that we're having today, this sort of Socratic discussion, is your regular co-host, Lars Fry. Yippee! So, giving him a moment to applaud.
Thank you.
And we don't have to applaud.
We don't have to.
Oh well, I mean, I appreciate it if you want.
Okay, well,
if you felt it.
All right, there's
not,
there's sort of fraternity being built, and that's good. And then
Grace is around the corner right now.
Grace is around the corner. Great. Grace is on her way too. Michaela.
Did you join the Life 360?
You're on a Life 360?
Yeah, we have.
Oh no, I
join
just have her
Vacation
location. Wait, I want to join Life 360.
VTV.
That's something that has never been said.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
I love
want
tracking
anybody
my
tracking
friends,
me, you know?
and I
want
would
government to
track
be able
you.
to
I
find
track
me, you know?
everyone.
But I feel like it'd be funny to know where I'm at.
Along with myself and regular co-host Lars Fry is award-winning VTV actor Michaela Kando, which is true, and we can say that because it is true. Also writer for VTV, also very good friend of ours. Grace has just walked through the door as well, so we'll introduce you to Grace because I know you don't know her.
Not award-winning.
Grace, your coffee is in the fridge that doesn't work. So it's right over there behind you. But other than that, we have a special guest star and acclaimed VTV actor Max Berger here with you.
Yeah.
Yep, that's great. He's kind of the mayor in a lot of ways.
Plumsicle said friends who surveil together stay together.
Okay, well that's true.
And Pigeon said yes, Grace, the VTV goat, which I don't think.
That's
Grace,
true.
did you hear what Pigeon said?
Hey, goat. What's up?
Somebody called you VTV goat, so that's pretty exciting.
Hey, goat, you're goated.
Oh.
I'm feeling goat. All right.
So Grace is also here, and she'll be making her debut appearance very soon here. Grace had a very successful and wonderful show last night, didn't she?
It was incredible.
So let's give her let's give her a little congratulations, you know.
Which Michaela was in and was also incredible in.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I have it as an unlisted link, but I might post it publicly.
You should.
And then, Max Berger's up to all sorts of no good, you know. So here we are. Today, as many of you know, because many of you submitted things, we will be going through the chat in our Discord and going through the fan-fiction scripts that are, tales, novellas, short stories, if you will, and we'll be reading for you, reading them here for you live on air, which I'm pretty excited about. I think they're all going to be very appropriate, and that they're all going to put a lot of respect.
For sure.
Me and Max Berger and anybody else who may be mentioned in said.
Did anyone read any of these? Like, did Eli read them? Has anyone screened them at all?
Eli, did you read these? No. All right. So no one has read these. So I will be using my best judgment as we go.
Read and what to not
All
read.
pick our favorite.
But
And hopefully everyone was appropriate if George is going to be reading them because peanuts are on the line.
peanuts are on the line. I do not want to lose all of them. If anybody wants like a peanut to snack on, you can have one. They're honey roasted.
They're really good.
No
They're
worries.
very good.
They're really good.
I like the pins in the couch.
Well, thank you. That's very kind.
toy.
We'll make sure to put more of them in for you next
That
time.
would be good.
Yeah, that would be really
Sounds
great.
nice.
And you'd like that.
Isn't it fun? Look at that.
Well, I
Literally
suppose
on the edge of your seat
unless
right
anybody
now.
has some sort of like wildly entertaining anecdote that they'd like to share with our audience, perhaps we can go ahead. Anybody with some sort of wildly entertaining anecdote or sort of what are more words for anecdote? Some sort of story. That's good.
Sort of.
Yeah, maybe a joke.
A tale.
You know,
A tale.
maybe some sort of punchline gag of some kind.
Girl, we're hungover.
Everybody's hungover. I'm not. I feel great.
Well, that's good for you.
And yeah, Max Berger's not. You know,
I
he
kept
feels
drinking. I
great.
bought a Surfside to end the night out,
Because it
and
was
then
good.
stole
What is a
it.
Surfside?
Okay, can I just plug a Surfside?
Go
real
for it.
quick?
Go for it.
Let's-
Please do.
Surfsides are like what Twisted Teas should be.
Yes.
Okay.
They taste better. Like Surfsides are.
Oh my god.
Those are those like vodka.
They're
iced
vodka
tea.
iced teas, but they actually taste
Right.
good.
Guess what I brought?
Alex is here with more dandelions.
Yay!
That's very exciting. Alex, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing pretty great.
I was dilly-dallying. That's why I was late.
That's okay. You're
I
good
love
at
the
dilly-dallying,
dilly-dallying,
you
dude.
know?
I'm late because I called a wait and see
So,
Uber.
Surf Shark, thank you
Surfside?
for sponsoring.
Surfside?
Surfside.
And
Surfside GPT?
Hello
But
Fresh
Surfside
GPT.
sponsored by Shark Week.
Okay.
Oh, I like Shark,
Shark
Week.
Week.
Yeah. So everybody,
Get drunk,
uh,
watch
you had
some
a
shark
pocket.
videos.
Hell yeah.
yeah, everybody.
I highly recommend watching seals and
Yeah.
sharks while intoxicated.
Also send us shark
Yes,
vids.
intoxicating.
Thank you, Alex.
It's
We all like shark vids. And yes, Grace.
But my Surfside anecdote.
Yes.
I bought one to end the night. Everyone was gone except for my roommate and I. We were still at the damn bar and having a great time. And then I was like, I kind of want to go home and DoorDash some pizza. But I had the Surfside and I was
Like
like,
one
okay.
does.
And so I just carried it out and no one stopped me. And so I just left the bar with my Surfside and then poured it into my water bottle and then went home and ate an entire small pizza
not locked in.
and then fucking crashed.
what
So that was a fun anecdote in a lot of ways.
what pizza?
A small Papa John's pepperoni pizza.
I got kicked out of a Papa John's.
Why?
I kept asking if I could meet
She did it.
Peyton Manning, and I
they say
got
no,
kind of
or-
belligerent, and it was my fault, and I deserved to be kicked out of a Papa John's.
Anyway, thank you so much, Cindy, for the donation. We appreciate it so
Oh,
much.
thank you so much.
Said, I hope no one leaves here traumatized.
No, we're gonna be great, and everything's
Damn.
gonna be so appropriate and very Christian. You know, which is why we
I
have
hope-
Grace
Is
on
it-
stream today.
I hope
Because
where's
Grace
no-
is our resident.
I
What do you
pray
call that?
sometimes.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
So, you know, very connected to the church
Latter-day
of Latter-day Saints, and so we're here to represent that front on this front here.
Yeah.
You know, on this front.
especially the
that
front.
was-
No, that was awesome.
We're on the front
I was curious
in
as
a
to
lot
what it
of
was.
ways. Okay. Well, if that's all the fun and entertaining punchline anecdotes that we have for today, we can move on to talking about NordVPN, GPT, Fresh.
Eli said
and,
no.
Oh, he said
this-
no.
is
Okay.
this working?
So we're not
Is
going
it-
to talk
is it
about
in
that.
line?
but
Oh,
that's
that's
okay.
amazing.
You look like a Pikmin with the little flowers
Oh,
coming
that's
out of your
dope.
hair.
Yeah, you look dope.
Or
I
like
like
in
that.
Among Us. Y'all remember that?
Oh,
All right.
Ooh, Among Us reference.
All right, here. Hold on.
Everyone
Let me.
chat, blow up the chat Among Us.
All right, I'm pulling up the.
Everybody blow up the
I'm
chat with
pulling
Among
up
Us.
the- wait.
Everyone saw us.
Among Us sauce.
I'm pulling up the Discord here.
It's
We're gonna
under
read some
my
fan
butt.
fiction. It's all gonna be very wholesome and very Christian.
Aaron is
Um,
in church right now and said, if I'm watching this stream in a church, does that make the fics blessed or so unholy they need God?
Wow. I think it makes them blessed.
I think-
as long as you pour a little water on your screen, then I think
Uh-oh.
it's holy and
Yeah,
it's
and in the
blessed
charging
and-
hole too.
In the charging hole
yeah.
as well.
Sauce.
Is that what you call it, or is it called is it like
port.
it's a port?
Port. Charging port.
It's a
Hey.
port, Grace.
Real quick.
Yeah, I know it's.
Don't ever fucking correct me on stream ever again.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
right, guys.
So great. We feel good about that, and it's a hole, is what we're calling it.
It's a charging.
Charging
It's a
hole.
charge hole. Is what we call that.
Isn't that what the Priuses have as well?
Yeah, I think that is what the Priuses
hybrid.
have. I think they have like a hybrid charge
No,
hole.
Priuses, their wheels spinning charge their battery.
And so don't
So
put
they
a bunch
take
of.
gas,
Oh.
and then their wheels spinning charges the other thing.
And what about the one where you run with it and go yabba yabba dabba doo and
That's
the
the
dinosaurs?
Flintstones.
I love the Flintstones. I think they're fantastic. What happened to them? You know, is that another one that we're
Maybe
not
like a-
allowed to say
like a-
anymore? You
I
know,
like hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
There was this meteor.
John Goodman's dead.
Well, John Goodman's not dead.
Okay, John Goodman's still around. We can watch
For
Speed
sure.
Racer. So maybe
Dude, I watched that for the
Well,
first
even if he
time
was
the
dead,
other
you'll still
day.
watch
Yeah.
it's
Speed
Eli's
Racer.
favorite movie.
I'm
It'll
like,
disappear
I
once
felt like
someone
it was like
dies.
straight man
Not
can't.
really.
Yeah,
Just can't watch
yeah,
it.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
perfect.
you won't be in
Like
anything
that,
else.
that was
He couldn't be in
how-
like
Oh,
Speed
maybe-
Racer
Okay.
maybe
2.
it's also-
Okay, everybody. Okay.
You
All right.
like
All right.
cars.
let's focus up.
Back to Speed Racer, guys.
All right, Speed Racer now. We're gonna read some fan fiction.
Which
Is
one
now.
are we're starting with
I'm
Aaron's.
nervous.
Hold on. How far up do I go?
Let's go to
here?
stream chat.
Yeah.
Discord. I'm howling at the
scroll
moon.
up
Does it
to-
start with the George parable?
That's I think the first.
That
one,
is the
yeah.
first one.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So start with- if you're in our Discord, you can follow along from the stream chat. If you're not in our Discord, maybe we could send out a link to
Yeah,
any new folks.
I got that.
And then they can come on in.
Wow.
I resend the link.
That'd be great.
What do you mean? You're probably in it already, right? Okay.
All right. This is pretty fun. A lot of
Okay,
pages
Lynn,
here.
Discord.
This is 23 pages. Aaron. So wow. You get a look at you go.
Are we popcorn reading this?
Making us proud here. All right.
Yeah, so I think you start and then you pop and then
I'll
you kinda
popcorn it. I'll
to somebody.
popcorn it over to somebody.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
I'm reading the
fantastic.
chat, so I can't really.
So Larson,
Yeah,
you're
all right.
in
can't
the
really
chat.
read the.
Well, you're overseeing. You're like kind of the teacher overseeing the.
So
Yeah,
actually,
that's
I
smart.
should assign
Do you,
popcorn.
yeah.
reading.
Okay. Oh yeah.
We should make popsicle sticks, and I can.
You make
randomly-
popsicle sticks. All right.
This one.
I'm gonna get us going here. So Aaron, thank you so much for submitting. This starts with an author's note. So this is from Aaron. Hi there. I've never written a fanfic before, so I hope this turned out well and you enjoy it. The premise is based off the Stanley Parable stream, but like if George was stuck inside the game? ? Oh yeah, and throw some angst into that as well. Parentheses. Everyone is also a smidge out of character, but that's fine. It's all fine. This was all done because it's fun. End of parentheses. Anyway, without further ado, on to the fic. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you. You're wonderful. And now we begin. George Tracy. Oh, sorry.
Somebody want to text me that link real quick?
In the stream chat.
Michaela should have something.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop
I'm
All
just,
right,
you know,
Grace is gonna popcorn.
I'm just
Grace
making
is gonna pop that
Will you
corn
just
over
type
to
your
you.
phone
I'm
number
just
in?
making a
And
Discord
so we'll
account
all
real
sort of-
quick.
We'll all sort of
So
pop
Michaela's never been in the Discord.
So
we'll sort of pop
Michaela's,
corn over to Michaela.
Yes.
And
not
so
very good
we'll all be invited over to the
Thank you.
Discord to pop corn
So sorry.
over to Michaela.
That is so
All
funny.
right. Let me get us started here.
Sorry, chat.
George Tracy had never thought he would be working an office job, but then again, he hadn't expected a lot of things that had happened in his life. The job wasn't all bad. The pay was certainly better than being a busboy, no annoying customers, and he didn't have to stand on his feet the whole shift. Anything that helped keep his once exploded foot from aching was a win. in his
Footsplosion
books.
mentioned.
Footsplosion mentioned.
Footsplosion
That's
in
a
the chat.
point, I think.
That's a point.
So keep track of. Are we keeping track of? Great.
Up the points.
Eli's
should've
got
made
the point
Dude,
counter
I
in
should have
there.
made
Eli, hit the
rubrics for
fireworks.
this.
Yeah, hit the
Eli.
firework button. That's true.
Okay, all right. The work was monotonous, but George didn't complain. It gave him plenty of time to come up with new ideas to pitch to his friends at Vacation Television. Maybe we could do a live show again, George thought to himself, reaching for his notepad to scribble it down. We have a larger and more active audience, and with how many tune into the streams, they'd probably enjoy it. At least we won't have to make another joke about our low viewer count being caused by all of Ian's prison buddies having to share a TV instead of their own screens. That's a deep cut.
That's
awesome.
Even I didn't know that.
That's
What is
awesome.
that?
That's from Max Burger
Ian went
tonight.
to jail, and Ian was able to convince everybody.
So
in
we got
jail to
300
watch,
new viewers.
but they're all watching on one screen in prison.
Because they're all in prison. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
And we were gonna bring his new buddy he made in prison, Pumpkin, onto the show too.
Pumpkin?
You were
Yeah,
gonna be
Pumpkin. You were gonna be Pumpkin. So he was like a pimp. It was
I
a whole
do
thing.
remember hearing about
Be like
Pumpkin.
Ian's pimp.
Thank you, Aaron. That's a point.
That's another point. That's,
And Eli's keeping
Michaela,
track of our
you doing
points
okay?
for us.
Oh, Eli's
Yeah.
keeping track of
It's on
points.
the screen,
so great
so you
job,
can also keep
Eli.
track at home.
So thank you, Eli.
Eli, get a counter going right here. Eli, get a counter.
It's
going
already
right
there.
Eli, get a Max Burger going right here.
here. Get a second Max Burger going right
sex-
here.
All right, okay.
Just a quick update.
Yeah.
My application is
Oh,
pending.
wait, I gotta accept your application.
I can accept your application.
Somebody popcorn that over to the
Family. Okay, wait.
Pop
first,
that.
But wait, first. Okay, so let's review this. Okay, have a favorite VTV show.
Okay.
Family relapse.
Okay.
Have anything else to say? Hey, baby, let's tap.
Rejected.
Okay.
Reject.
No. I approve. Don't worry, Max Burger can't hurt you.
Okay, everybody. So onward. Wait! Screens. My job. George snapped his attention back to his computer. He wasn't sure how long he had been lost in thought, but he was expecting a flood of missed orders. Instead, there was nothing. This was unusual. Everyone always had a task waiting on their screen, unless they were in a meeting or heading home for the day. Maybe someone else was having the same issue. Straining to hear the chatter outside his door, he realized it was too quiet. The employees in the cubicles were always joking about something, only quieting to a whisper when they got yelled at. But now the only sound he could hear was the buzz of the lights, the air from the vents, and his breath that was entirely too loud. How long had it been this silent? Maybe everyone is in a meeting, a big old meeting, and I somehow missed the memo for, George thought, trying to quell his rising anxiety. Or maybe they all got sent home early. I'd better check. He forced himself to stand up and approached his office door. Or maybe they all went to solve the issue. That must be it. His attempts of reassurance didn't stop the shaking of his hands, but with a deep breath he forced his door open, and nobody was there. Not a single person sat in the office space in front of him. He took a hesitant step forward. There must be a reason. A wave of noise crashed through his head, causing him to stumble. He barely was able to catch himself on the doorframe before a voice sounded out, both inside his head and surrounding the room. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had missed a memo. Stanley? George couldn't recall knowing a Stanley, and the buzzing left in his head by the voice made it hard to think. Not buzzing, more voices. Multiple, overlapping voices, chatting away in his head, to each other, to him, to nobody in particular, but the loudest voice, the one that had called him Stanley, wasn't there. George tried to retreat into his office. The voices had started when he had left it. Maybe they'll go away if he returns, but the buzzing got louder, all shouting the same message. Popcorn Max Burger.
Thank you. I'm going to continue. Eli, can you make the me right here? Can you make that like 20% bigger, but also like half opacity? So like make it kind of see through.
We don't want to see as much Max Burger
So I want it
ghost of Max
bigger, but I want it to be see through.
like a giant ghost.
Yeah, there's a Max Burger doing the pizza.
And Eli, can you
It's not.
and Eli, can you also make
Not
the
pizza.
points like a news bracket, like kind of passing across the screen like repeatedly? And can you also get a stock ticker up in this up far in this corner?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Anyways,
My favorite.
move forward.
They're so good. Item
He didn't want to move forward. He didn't want to listen to the overwhelming chaos that had entered his brain. But they only got louder the longer he stood still. If he listened, would they go away? He took a cautious step forward, then another. The buzzing softened, becoming background noise now that they were appeased. What had the other voice said? Go to the meeting room? He had been planning to go there anyway, so he might as well. He looked into each of the offices as he passed, much to the annoyance of the voices. The loudest one was narrating each and every pause, while the overlapping voices poked fun at his idleness. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. George let out a huff of indignation. If the voice was going to tell him what to do, it could at least call him by the right name. What happens if I go through the right door? And going through the right door is what he did. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Not Stanley. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. George entered the lounge, and immediately collapsed onto the closest couch. What is happening? Had he died somehow? Heart attack at 25, collapsed over his desk, entered an afterlife that tormented him by being alone, without his friends?
Sorry.
What'd you say?
What?
I
No.
missed it.
Rest in peace. Hey.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Can we get a rip on the
Rip?
screen?
Yeah, can we get a rip in the chat?
Rip in the chat.
Rip in the
Chester
chat.
Bennington, rip.
Rip.
Sorry.
His friends! The voices in his head had disoriented him so much he hadn't tried calling his friends yet. He patted his back pocket for his phone, then the other pocket, then the front ones. His phone wasn't in any of them. He must have left it back in his office. He crossed back over to the closed door. Had I closed that? And turned the knob. And turned it again. And again. And again. And the door stayed shut. Fuck! George tried to mutter, but the word died.
Sorry.
But the word died in his throat.
So you didn't
He tried
say
to say it again, but the only sound that came out was the air leaving his lungs. No, 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 no! Let me out! He tried to yell, yanking on the door with all his might. An exhale, and the knob rattling was his response. George sank to his knees, fumbling with his tie as he struggled to breathe. The voices kept going on, and he just couldn't think. Popcorn. Michaela.
Standing now.
Oh, wow.
In this incredible room, Stanley, for the first time, understood true happiness. I'm not Stanley, George tried to yell, but he could only manage a few aching gasps of air. I need Lars. He'll know what to do. Spotting a phone on the side table, George half crawled, half stumbled his way over to it. He punched in the numbers and shakily held the receiver to his face, trying to calm himself enough to speak. Will I even be able to talk? A new wave of panic shot through him before he shook his head to dispel his thoughts. No, I can't think about that. I have to talk to Lars and get out of here. But the phone kept ringing, only stopping for a cheerful message. Hey, it's Lars. I'm either teaching, playing Overwatch, or leading a Butarian jihad right now, so leave a message and I'll call you back when I can. It may not have been the phone call he was hoping for, but being able to hear Lars's voice just helped George breathe. To ground himself back to the strange dream. So, I can't talk to Lars right now, he furrowed his brow and thought, but that doesn't mean I still can't get out of here. He was
Also, sorry, Lars hyperfixation mention, that's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut. That's a point.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's a
Point.
point. All right, Eli, that's a point.
Point.
Eli.
Give me a Max Burger.
We got
for that.
Overwatch and
Eli,
Doom.
can you
That's
hear
a
us?
point.
Four more Max Burgers.
I might eat a peanut for that
4
one.
more.
A round of Max Burgers for the
Sorry.
table, please.
Round of Max Burgers.
If I get some
Hey,
Max Burgers
if
from the
I-
table,
Do we have some Max Burgers? Do we have some Max Burgers? You have a couple Max
I have
Burgers?
some Max Burgers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Round of Max Burgers.
Fuck.
Everybody have a Max Burger?
Yeah, I think we all.
Also, they wanted George to give a peanut for saying the F word, but he didn't say it.
But he didn't say it.
Aaron said it.
And I'm not the thought police.
That's
so
true.
You're
Lars
safe,
is not
you're
the
safe
thought
from
police.
peanuts.
Everybody knows that about Lars. Everybody says that about Lars.
George daughter.
True. Which one? Which one?
Sorry, I got confused.
I'm going thought son.
Thought
I don't know which one. Thought son or thought son?
To be honest, George daughter.
Really? Thank you. That's-
George daughter.
I would love George daughter.
That'd be.
Yeah.
I would take care of her.
George
I think
daughter.
she should actually be-
Sounds like a lovely
She
lass.
sounds
Yeah.
lovely. You know what?
Thoughts
gal.
on her George
You're a
daughter.
good
Put it in the
gal.
chat.
Good get. I'm a
Yeah,
good-
what do you guys
Thank
think?
you. I appreciate
You're
that.
a good George daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I think if I
George
was a
daughter.
lady, you'd say gal about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be a
You're a
gal.
gal.
Yeah.
No.
I think that'd be.
Everyone drop in the chat if you
Yeah.
want to have a thought son or a George daughter.
Yeah, let us know, and that's a point. You know, I think Eli would say, and 5 more Max Burgers. All right.
Line the screen with Max Burgers. Like a nice border.
Wow.
There's 2 right now, and they're next to each other.
All right, guys. We got a lot of
Nvidia
script
stock
to get
ticker.
through.
I want the
Let's-
Nvidia
yeah.
stock ticker.
Yeah. Let's see how the Dow's doing. All right, sorry. Let's.
It's ridiculous.
He was getting tired of the voices, and the only way to quiet them was to listen. If they wanted to leave him, if they wanted him to leave the lounge, he would leave. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Did he have to listen to the voice that couldn't even call him the right name? Stanley was so bad at following directions. It's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. George had never been in this room before. He hadn't even realized his job at a warehouse. He was starting to wonder just how much he knew about this place. Approaching the cargo lift, his stomach dropped at how far it was to the floor below. He started to think that he had made a mistake going this way, but he couldn't turn back. Not when the doors kept locking behind him. Did he get on the lift? Should he find a way down, or should he just try the locked door once again? His eyes flicked between each of the options, unable to decide. The voices started to grow in volume until George felt like he was being shouted at from every direction. Get on the lift! Stop standing around! Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. Just make a choice! Popcorn to Grace.
It was terrifying, overwhelming, and completely disorienting. George fell to his knees with the shock and pain of it, and threw out his hands to catch himself. They landed on empty air. He felt himself falling forward off the edge of the platform. He waved his arms widely, trying to grab the cargo lift, the safety sign, anything to keep him steady. But it was too late. George fell down.
No.
And down, and George stood up. With a start, breathing heavily. Was he dead? Was he in heaven? Was he in hell? He was just in his office. The empty screen sat in front of him, taunting him that he hadn't just been dreaming. But how? I should have died. He should be celebrating his escape from death, but all he could feel was dread. I have to get out of here. But how? He was stuck with these voices dictating where to go, ignoring them mid-death. He drummed his fingers on the desk as the voices chatted away to each other about his death. The parking garage. There could be a stairway to access it if he goes through the meeting room. And if he goes through the meeting room, maybe the loudest voice will stop. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. George passed by the desks as fast as he could. Casually walk. He wanted to get out of there as quickly as possible, but didn't want to tip off the voices to his plan. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. When George came to a set of 2 doors, he corrected the voice, not that anything left his mouth, but he went through the left door anyway. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Absolutely not. George glanced at the slides projected on the wall. It read, rate which charts on the same slide depict the same information, with 3 charts below it. How could anything get done at this company? He half wanted to see what the other slide said, but if he idled any longer, the voices would get impatient. So he walked out the meeting room towards the stairs. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. And down George went, but Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. Popcorn, Alex.
By the way, real quick, everyone's saying that George is this generation's Charlie Chaplin, and that you should go back in time and fight him and become a silent film actor.
Thank you. And I would do it with a full mustache, not not like the guy trying to take over Europe and stuff, where that guy was. Yeah, no, I will keep doing that. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
George started to descend faster, hoping he could leave that voice behind. He might be fired for that, and in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? Who cares about the economy when they're stuck here? George ran down the steps, almost leaping off the last one before breaking into a sprint. All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. His footsteps echoed across the room as he took just enough care to not barrel into the walls. He almost ran into a car Wow, I can't read it. Okay. He almost ran into a car in his panic, but managed to dodge it just in time. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. I'm not crazy. George's foot started to send bolts of pain up his leg. Foot explosion mentioned, but he kept on running.
Explosion, no.
Explosion mention. 5 more Max Burgers.
Yeah, let's get him up on screen.
Wait, is that another point, too?
Well, I think Aaron should receive like 5
Second round of burgers, please.
My God. Can I get a Max Burger just right over my face real quick?
Yeah, I'll show Max Burger covering up Michaela.
This is insane.
Good.
The screen looks crazy.
My Sunday best.
Oh, is it awesome? Oh, great. Good, okay. Alright.
All of my coworkers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all, running past the vending machine. None of it made any logical sense. Past the office chairs. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. Past the car. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? George took a moment to glance down at his feet. He could see them. and he could certainly feel them. He's talking about Stanley, not you, he reminded himself as he passed the vending machine. Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went, past the office chairs? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar, past the car. Were they simply repeating? And popcorn back to George.
His foot was in agony now. He slowed to a hobble, not sure whether or not to focus on the pain or the truth of the voice. No, they can't be repeating. That's not possible. George shook his head as if ridding himself of the idea would make it false. No, Stanley said to himself. This is all too strange. This can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. He leaned on the wall, unable to put any more weight on his foot. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. What a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. George pushed himself along, reaching for whatever he could to move himself forward. His coworkers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. I'm not crazy. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll get out of this place. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. He bumped his foot into a chair and let in a shaky inhale of pain. I'm not enjoying this. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. And float George did, waving his arms to try to steady himself. Maybe I can use this. He fumbled for the office chairs and pulled himself forward, slowly flinging himself forward. Then he imagined himself soaring through the space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. The room darkened, and stars danced across his vision. It would have been beautiful had George not been so utterly afraid. And just as quickly as they appeared, they were gone, and his levitation with it. His foot hit the floor at an odd angle, and he fell to the floor with a heavy thud. He tried to scream, but nothing happened. The narrating voice droned on, and the buzzing voices grew louder. Look at him go! He's trying not to be still. I'm so proud of him. Oh my God! He's killed himself twice. Twice? George tried not to pull himself forward, but could barely think through the pain and noise. His eyes slowly slid shut from exhaustion. Please, don't let me die.
Oh.
And George died again.
Oh.
His eyes slid open just to be...
That's Gore of my comfort character.
His eyes slid open just to be met with the mocking computer screen. The voices were still talking. No, joking about his last death. Look at my protagonist, dog. We're gonna die. Protagonist? George wasn't a protagonist. He was just himself. His life wasn't some exciting story to follow along with. Sure, there had been some interesting moments, like his foot exploding on that ski trip, but it wasn't enough to be protagonist material.
5 more back.
Is he just going to sit there? He might stay there until he wastes away. Then wake back up as if nothing had happened. He couldn't live like this. He just couldn't. What is he doing? George, oh my God, please move. George, they know my name. George leaned back and stared at the ceiling, wishing to see the voices in front of him instead of inside him. Should I listen to them? But George knew he couldn't. Any time he ignored the loudest voice, he died. The cacophony of voices might be knowledgeable about what was happening, but they were just as powerless as he was. No, not powerless. George could at least make choices for himself, unless the voice override his desires. But if it had that much power to decide where he would go, he might as well listen to it. Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. When Stanley came across the 2 open doors, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Stanley. Why does he think I'm Stanley? If the voice realized he was George, would it let him go? Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover any indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. Tired of being called the wrong name and being told what he was feeling, George started to tune the voice out. Instead, he looked around the office, heavily decorated with tall ceilings, large windows, and shelves filled with books. There was even an executive bathroom. This feels more like a mansion than an office. He stared at the photos, almost relaxing at the scene presented in them. Maybe he could stay here, ignore the voices, and try to contact his friends. They could They should be able to rescue him. Take bets to see if he remembers the number. The number? Shit. Maybe he should have been paying attention. What is bro doing? I'm appreciating the art. 2, 8, 4, 5. And the voice sounded completely done with him. How long had it been repeating that number? But George remembered. 2, 8, 4, 5. He repeated to himself now to figure out what it was for God, but it turns out that panel's the emergency override kicked in and the door just opened all by itself.
All right.
And Stanley...
All right, we're... All right.
Popcorn Max Burger.
All right.
Got a little carried away.
5 more Max Burgers.
Wait, which Max Burger?
What's that?
Which Max
Oh,
Burger?
the top left Max Burger.
Okay.
And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo. The lights shut off, and George pressed himself against the wall, wondering if he would be killed again for ignoring the voice. Mechanical sounds filled the room, and they were getting louder. George squeezed his eyes shut in fear, not that it made a difference in the darkness. But then light shined through his closed lids. Hesitantly opening one eye, he saw a floodlight in a hidden hallway, right where the fireplace had been. So that's what the number was for. Well, if that's where the voice wanted him to go, holding one hand up to shield the light, he entered the hallway. A red light shined from just around the corner. Red usually means danger, but George had no other choice but to approach. An elevator was the origin of the light. With a glowing down button, George stepped on and hesitantly pushed it. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. George had only been there for a few months. Why the voice thought he had been there longer, he had no idea. But maybe, if he thought Stanley was listening to him, George would get to escape. Stepping off the elevator and through the winding hallway, he looked up to see the words, Mind Control Facility, above the door at the end of the hall. Real subtle. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. And George almost did, but froze when he saw the sign reading, Escape, pointing down a branching hallway. He stood, debating what to do. On one hand, it was the clearest sign of escaping this place. On the other, not listening had led to him dying twice. But the escape path could lead to freedom. And if he died, he'd just end up in his office again, right? He started to walk down the escape path. Almost every voice in his head disagreed with that decision. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. George, you're gonna die for the third time! Go, George, follow your own path! He was pretty sure that last voice just wanted him to suffer. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. Maybe that one didn't care what would happen, because he knew he would wake up back in his office. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death. George stopped. He figured if he died, he would return to the start of this nightmare. But did he want to die again? He thought about the pain, the exhaustion, the fear he had felt over his life ending. Never seeing his friends again. Could he go through that again? When listening to the loudest voice could lead him to freedom.
Bless you.
Thank you.
5 more Max Burgers for the
Yeah, that's probably
His shoulders slumped in resignation, and he turned around. But of course, Stanley thought better of it, and realized he simply had too much to live for, or not enough to die for. Footsteps echoing through the passageway, he returned to the mind control facility and entered through the shadowed doorway. The one voice kept yelling at him to turn back. He ignored it. Popcorn, Michaela.
Okay. I lost my freaking place in the page.
Oh my god, you weren't even reading.
We're on the top
it.
of page 13.
Thank you, 13. A huge, dark, empty room awaited him, with a walkway leading to a button. A large light bulb icon the size of his computer decorated it. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? The lights illuminated the silhouettes of 2 other platforms. This is such a waste of space, George sighed as he walked through the next one. This button had a security camera. Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. Stanley's one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
What the heck?
Who would have
Sorry, I'm
guessed?
ad-libbing. That's not.
Who would have guessed?
Not this guy.
The mind control facility monitors its employees. He would have been running away in fear if he had the choice, but he was starting to doubt he had one to begin with. This mind control facility, it was all too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? He was happy because it gave him more money for vacation television, and he got to sit down the whole shift. Otherwise, it was just a job. Why does it keep telling me how I feel? No, he refused to believe it. We couldn't accept it. His own life in somebody else's control? Never! It was the unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? He had truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world. But George had no control of his life. At least not anymore. He was at the will of the voices in his head. The voice droned on and on about the facility, and the others told him what he should do. But at this point, George couldn't be bothered to care. He made his way toward the facility power and gazed up upon the screen. Mind controls idle, waiting input. Without a second thought, he slammed his hand down on the off button, and he was surrounded by complete darkness. The voice went on and on, but George was stuck on one thing it said. He had won. And as the screen was lowered to reveal freedom, George allowed himself to believe it. The grass grew tall alongside the cobblestone path, and the clouds moved gently across the sky with a breeze, and the view stretched as far as he could see. And Stanley was happy. And so was I, George thought, blinking in the sunlight and opening his eyes to the computer screen. No! He had won, hadn't he? He'd followed orders. He turned off the machine. He was shown freedom, and it had been taken away. I have to escape. I have to get out of here. The escape is in the broom closet. Trust me. Popcorn George.
George decided to ignore that voice for now. The escape path right before the mind control facility, the one that everyone said would lead to his death, if he was going to end up back here anyway, did it even really matter? He had to try. Ignoring all the voices, he went through the door to the left, through the meeting room, up the stairs, and into the office. Spotting the keypad, he punched in the code. 2845. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. Not like the narrator even shut up in the first place. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music. What the hell? Why the narrator wanted to waste his time, George had no idea, but as he stood in front of the fireplace, he couldn't help but sway along to the music. The buzzing voices seemed to enjoy it as well. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the open passageway. I feel more annoyed than anything, but George did have to admit he felt a bit better. But down George went, and this time he ignored the warnings of death from the narrator. As the walls darkened and his footsteps grew louder, he couldn't help but wish to turn back. Every muscle in his body was tense with fear. Instead, he approached the glowing red pit, shut his eyes, and stepped into the empty air. He hit the ground hard, pain exploding up his legs. For a moment, he could see the snow-covered slopes where he had once felt this level of agony before. Oh, God, not again! I can't go through this again! He gripped the railing, silent tears streaming down his face. He tried to conjure up the face of Lars, Eli, Grace, anyone he knew, but he could barely think through the pain. Why wasn't he dead? He should be from a fall like that. Why wasn't he back in his office already? The narrator wants me to suffer. The thought broke through the fog of pain. I didn't follow his story, and now he wants me to pay for it. George could faintly hear the narrator going on about whatever situation Stanley just ended up in, and forced himself to focus on that. Just focus on anything but the pain. Farewell, Stanley. Wait!
Oh my god.
George flung his eyes open,
That
shutting
got my
them
eye.
just quickly as 2 metal plates slammed into him. He recoiled, drawing into himself as the platform shook violently, then stilled, peeling open his eyes. He expected to find the computer in front of him, but instead saw the 2 plates inched away from his face. Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
No.
That wasn't the narrator. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. So why hadn't it? George wished he had died, even if he ended up back in his office. At least then the pain would be gone. The floor gave way under him, and George fell to the walkway below. He expected his legs to give up, but instead, they only held a dull ache. Is this because the narrator is gone? George pulled himself to his feet and painstakingly made his way to the only light in the room. And yet, it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office as alive as ever. Why not now? Why do I stay in pain? But walking through the doorway revealed a brightly lit museum. The office layout was in front of him, and different items from his office were scattered about the room. What is this? What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. As George climbed up the stairs, he questioned if he was conscious or if this new voice was the result of some pain-filled delirium. The voice was reflecting his thoughts, something the others hadn't been able to do. He didn't like that. He was already having his agency ripped away from him, every choice made meaningless. His thoughts were his own, and he didn't want to give that up. He walked through the darkened doorway and saw a glowing on and off switch. Moving toward it as fast as he could, he gripped the lever and pulled it down, and everything went dark. Was he finally free? Free from the voices? Free from the narrator? Free for his decisions to mean something again? Or would he wake up in his office again, reliving this nightmare over and over again? But as the lights came up and he saw the metal plates smashing together in front of him, he knew that he wouldn't escape that easily. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now, and it'll be your only true choice. But how do I stop? George tried to scream. Please, let me go. But fate would never be that kind. And George died again. Popcorn Grace.
Yay! Okay. George didn't know what to do! He tried defying everything the narrator had asked of him, unplugging the phone that he was supposed to answer, and was finally recognized as George. But when the narrator demanded him to act as Stanley, his hopes of being set free were shattered. He was asked to speak a code, Nightshark 115, and he had hoped that this time he would be able to. But nothing had come out.
Oh.
He tried... No.
Duh.
He tried over and over again, the narrator berating him for not caring, but he did. Please, oh, please let me go, it hurts. He buried his face in his hands, tears dripping down his fingertips, but his lips moved silently. The office became corrupted around him, and he lifted his face to the computer screen. He had tried standing in the broom closet like the one voice had said so long ago. The narrator berated Stanley before directly insulting George. The person at this computer is dead. George wished that was true. Yes, stay in there.
No! Stay in the...
Oh, yes, stay in there.
Ow!
There's bunnies.
Bunnies! Oh, they're hopping! It's such a beautiful meadow!
Oh, the meadow with the bunnies.
What a gorgeous sight! It's picturesque!
Really hungry.
George is in the closet. Oh, it's okay. The broom closet ending is my favorite. At least someone was in
All right.
charge.
Upward Maxburger!
Damn it!
At least someone was enjoying
You blew it,
themselves.
kid. Yeah.
He had backtracked through the entire office, climbed more flights of stairs than he had wanted, and entered an escape pod that sent him right back to his office. George lay on the floor, hands covering his face. Not that his scream needed to be dampened anyway. What else could he do? he had explored almost every path on the left, but the right, he mentally ran through his options in the warehouse. He could climb down, he could answer the phone, he could jump off the cargo lifts to the catwalks below. George sat up with a start. It could work. Who knew what paths lay beyond the warehouse? What fruitless choices could he make? Or could I actually escape? His heart started to race. The answer could be out there, waiting for him. He had to try, and if he failed, well, he already knew the answer to that. He ran to the warehouse, steeled his nerves, and jumped off the cargo lift. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? George would have laughed if it wasn't so ironic. Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove them on your side. Give me a chance. He sighed. He was so tired of listening to what the narrator wanted from him, but there was only one path he could take, and maybe, just maybe, the narrator would finally let him go. Red door, please! George stumbled down the stairs, catching himself on the handrail before he fell. A stab of panic went through his heart, and he reminded himself this fall wasn't like the first one. He wasn't going to die. Not this time. Now, listen carefully. This is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Red! 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 So that's what the voices wanted. The narrator and one very incessant chirping voice, but the narrator said to trust him and it wouldn't betray him now. Right? The darkness of the hallway did not give him confidence, but he steeled his nerves and stepped through the red door anyways. Oh, thank God you're willing to listen to me. Do you realize that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The hallway was looping again, and his breaths came faster and faster. Not again, please, not again. We would both be much happier if we just stopped, and I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. A door swung open, and George darted through, not even caring he couldn't see through the darkness. He sprinted down the passage, leaving the looping hallway behind him. He was so desperate to leave, to approach the light at the end of the tunnel, that he didn't watch where he was stepping. His foot caught an edge, and he went down, banging his arms as he rolled across the ground, tumbling to a halt. He stared up at the star-filled ceiling, gasping for air. What is this place? Then color came into the world.
Oh, wow.
A shifting, swirling pattern danced across his vision, as if the beauty of fireworks had combined with the softness of clouds. The longer he watched, the calmer he felt.
Grace, right here. My hand. Grace.
Popcorn George.
Popcorn George.
And Mommy's hands.
Sorry, I'm at, yeah, okay.
Top 20.
The color came into the world.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay here, right in
All
this
right.
moment, with this place, Stanley, I think I would feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Popcorn,
I'm
Michaela.
doing great.
Yeah, all right. George felt tears fall down his cheeks. It's okay. It's okay. But didn't have the urge to wipe them away. Why shouldn't he stay here in this peaceful, gilded cage? He could never leave, so why not enjoy this miserable existence? If he fell asleep here, would he get to wake up to this view? They would enjoy this. And George shot to his feet. How had he forgotten? How could he stay here? No matter how wonderful this view is, he would do anything to see his friends again. He balled his hands into fists. I have to try. No, wait! Where are you going? He marched through the doorway into an unfinished hallway. The bright lights tried to discourage him, to make him turn back to the softer ones behind him, but he pushed away. Oh no, stay away from those stairs! But George let the pleas fall on deaf ears. I'm leaving one way or another. And up the stairs he went. His foot started to ache with each step, but the promise of an exit waiting to top kept him going. Hey, we good over there, Grace?
Yeah,
I
so
choked
someone
on
just
my coffee.
Okay.
someone just asked,
Is
is
it your
Grace
first
all
time?
right?
Yeah, Grace is alright.
Grace
Is
is
that your first time
okay.
drinking a beverage or?
Grace is
It's
Grace is new to straws.
But Grace defeated that beverage.
Yeah, I did good. I did good.
Really good. She did
She was really brave.
Can we
Hey,
just get
put a Dunkin' Donuts
5
ad
more
over
Max
Grace.
burgers?
Put a Dunkachino on Grace.
Put
Put
a
a
clunky
Dunkaccino.
Put a
Dunkachino.
What do I
Dunkachino.
want?
Dunkachino.
Put
Put a clunky dunker.
A dinky fucker.
Can I
Dunkin'
get my
suckin'
Clunkin' Dunkin' fucker? Anyway.
Where are we? What page
we
are we at?
are on page 20.
Okay.
A clunkin', dunkin', sunken.
Funkin'.
A funkin' come and suck and fuck.
Whoa. Inappropriate.
Oh, yeah, I
just-
should
hey,
eat
just-
it.
hey,
Grace,
hey,
you
just
know,
for- hey, just for
there's
that.
an entire
There was-
4th grade class watching this right now.
So I don't like that bit.
It's true.
I don't like the 4th grade
It's
class.
not a bit. It's
Every
not.
Don't
4th
like
grade
it.
class in
We are
Baltimore is
reading
watching this right
fanfiction
now.
right now for a 4th grade
Well, right,
class.
but the teacher lets them know, don't repeat this
Teacher
stuff.
said it was okay.
Right, teacher said,
Their parents all signed a waiver.
Mrs. Sanders tells her
It's like
4th
when you
grade
get
class.
to watch like a PG movie because
Yeah.
there wasn't PG-13
Yeah,
yet, you
yeah.
know.
And Mrs. Sanders has to be like, hey, you know, the stuff in here, don't
There
think that
was
it's
no
like sexual and
door
stuff,
waiting
you
for
know?
him. George stared at the empty wall as the hope drained out of him. He could have broken down the door. He could have banged on it until the narrator opened it for him, but he could do none of that now.
Someone sent us a gift. They sent sunshine. I've never seen that
Whoa!
before. But
Thanks for
thank you
the sunshine, partner.
sunshine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh,
Love that.
More like lit.
thank you for the sunshine.
Thank you, Lit. Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you,
Small Boy.
Vitamin D.
I hate scurvy.
Sorry.
Dread creeped into his heart as he stared at the open walkway. At the top of the stairs, the railing just ended with a smooth drop to the floor below. Were these really his options? Waste away in a beautiful room or fall 70 feet to his death? Don't take this from me, George wanted to scream. What about what he wanted? The narrator hadn't given him a choice other than to choose how he would suffer. If George was going to die, it would be on his terms. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. I'm not Stanley! No! And George slammed into the concrete below.
The concrete.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
concrete.
On to
See?
go back to George.
The Dunkin' Concrete.
The Dunkin' Conquered.
The Dunkin' Conquer
The Conquered.
is the new Sabrina meal.
White and Black fought for control of his vision while pain raced through his legs. His mouth opened and a silent scream tore through his throat. The voices could barely be heard through the rising sense of wrong. Now can we please get back to the other room? Please. George felt what he had thought were tears coat his face. Did the narrator wish for the room filled with lights so desperately that he would leave George in indescribable agony? His fingers twitched. He could still move, even if it was more painful than wishing and waiting for death to swallow him. A familiar laugh surrounded him, a distant and full of joy. Where had I heard that before? George peeled his eyes open to see a figure clad in white, the stairs faintly visible through him. A hand reached out towards him. Wait, I think it's invisible, Max Berger. Come now, George.
I hope it's
I know you're a stronger soldier than that. The comedic... Wait. Come now, George. I know you're a stronger soldier than that.
Oh.
The comedic British accent brought forth silent laughter to George's lips. Although he was... This is goated. This is genius.
This is
This is
insane.
a deep cut
This is a
and
deep
references
cut.
many things.
There's a point.
Although he wasn't sure
Yeah.
if his shaking was from humor or pain, would he always conjure up the Commodore to keep himself from being dragged under?
Oh.
You have well too spectacular of a mustache to give up now. I would know. Mine helped me fight off the Jerrys. As he stared up at Norman, he could almost see the super glue that they had used to attach the mustache to Teddy's smirking face. Why did he remember that now?
The super glue's also a point.
Yeah, that's also a point. George's hand passed through Norman's, and his friend vanished from his eyes. Wait, George cried out, I need you! But he had served his purpose. George knew what he had to do. He would not let the narrator win. He started to drag himself back toward the stairs, ignoring the narrator's cries. Each bump against the stairs sent another wave of pain through his body. Each gasp for air felt like spikes in his lungs. He thought of Lars rambling on about Dune. He thought of Eli cackling behind the cameras. He thought of Grace making outlandish jokes with him. He thought of Max breaking character as he reads joke cards on live. That's true. He thought of Gio practicing his Russian accent and pronunciation. He thought of Olivia presenting her latest designs. And as he pulled himself into the empty air, he thought of how much he wanted to see them again, and how sorry he was that he never would. And George died again. George had given up. What else could he do? He had tried every single option available. He had gone through the blue door and ran back and forth between two buttons for hours as to play the narrator's fiery, cruel game. He only stopped when his foot gave way and crashed through the floor. He had gone through the maintenance hallway and followed the adventure line every which way. It just led him to a dead end. He crawled through the vents, answered the phone, hid in his office, jumped out the windows, and even ended up on a whole different building. He tried every option a second time, just in case he had missed something. He had been insulted, both directly and through the guise of Stanley, and he endured it all for nothing. Even with the knowledge of how horrible it felt to have his agency taken away, he had turned on the mind control machine in hopes that it would get just a fraction of control back. How wrong he was. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. And a countdown of self-destruction had started just 2 minutes until he died. The first few times, George had run frantically around the room, pushing buttons, pulling levers, anything that would help stop his impending doom to let himself free. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go, but George tried again and again. And all he got was being mocked for his efforts while the rest of the voices cheered for their show. He stopped giving it to them. It was cathartic in a way, letting the narrator believe it was in control of how George died. Meanwhile, George got to watch the seconds tick down, knowing he would die quick and painless when it reached 0. And each time he opened his eyes to the empty computer screen, he robotically walked out of his office, followed the narrator's office, and pressed the on button. But you really believe there's an answer? How many times will you replay this bit, looking desperately for a solution? 10? 100? 1,000? I look forward to finding out, and to watching the bomb go off every time you fail. Just you and me, and the retching explosion of fire and metal over and over and over for all eternity. And Stanley died again. And Stanley died again. And George died again.
Gag.
Wow.
Shit!
Thank you, Aaron.
That was awesome.
Really.
Thank you for your submission.
Yay, Aaron!
A lot of deep cuts in there.
That was
gets some
that was
Napsburgers for that.
fantastic.
I'm so
sure.
surprised.
Oh my god, look at how many points!
Whoa! That's so
Aaron!
many points, Aaron. That's impressive
Holy
compared to the
shit.
other points, you know?
I'm so surprised that Aaron wrote something about you in the Stanley Parable and not something about Clark.
True. Yeah, no, good job, Aaron. Look at you. And Norman came in instead of Clark. That's crazy.
Aaron did say in the chat that they were like, had no idea how to write Norman. You did a great job.
You did a great job. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Nice,
That was
descriptive,
so great.
and yeah.
I love
Okay,
the world.
folks. I'm gonna go. I'm not allowed to say drain my lizard, so
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
said
go pee.
it, so go ahead and give me a peanut.
He
Crap.
just said it.
I thought
can't
quoting,
let
but I was like quoting myself.
Who are you quoting?
Oh yeah, that's true. All
And
right.
you know what? Give me one too, please.
All right.
Not from that jar, though.
I know.
Yeah,
I know how this
Didn't
works.
someone spit in the jar?
Yeah, it was
Ew.
Teddy.
I mean, we could clean it. We have the
Alright, here you
facilities
go.
to clean jars.
Yeah, here you go.
I believe so.
Here's for you.
Big one.
And
Oh, I'm
here's for
so-
Lars.
Thank
I left my
you.
China
Yeah.
snack at y'all's place.
I know you did.
it was-
It's still in there.
Well, I think it's probably bad now.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. All right. Since I can't say that anymore, I'm gonna go blast off.
We're all taking a peanut butter.
No, that's not more. That's
Well-
less.
Someone use the restroom.
No, come on now.
How about
I
go
hope
piss,
you
girl?
fall in for that.
No. All right. Well, nobody said it was wrong, so
No, I'm
gonna
saying
go
it's
So many
blast
people
off.
did. Don't stand
Alright.
on the.
What are you doing?
No, that table can't handle it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, never.
All right, taking more
Go ahead
peanuts.
and
Take a few
put
peanuts
it
a couple
in there.
peanuts.
Does anyone want any noodles?
For him saying that.
What?
No, I'm alright. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
I
actually
kinda- I
looking
kinda
on
like
Uber
noodles.
Eats at Noodles and Company just now.
I got it.
I like desperate.
I don't know if there's like another
Number
plate, but you
ummers.
also could just move on.
There's definitely plates
Moving
somewhere.
right along. You gonna swap for a bit so you can eat
Swap.
noodles?
Oh yeah,
I love you.
We could chair swap. It's
Chair
a wife
swap.
swap, but
Chair-
no
chair
wives,
swap.
just chairs.
But what if?
What if what, Michaela? Michaela, what if what? Moving right along in search of good times and good news.
Going behind me.
The
like,
amount
I
of
was
people here, I'm
sorry.
What are we supposed to be?
Oh, don't worry about it.
Hi, everybody. I'm watching the stream.
No, that's fine.
God.
How are you guys all doing?
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna respond because I'm not reading chat right now.
I'll let you know what they say.
Okay.
Because
Awesome.
Lily, I texted
Um,
from a screen cap.
You all having a great time? I'm sure. I'm sure you are. Lars?
Me?
Yeah, how are you
I'm
doing?
having a great time. I'm having a lot of fun. Plum pointed something out that I really liked, which was this stream is a good example of why it's good to read out loud. It does good for literacy and maybe also friendship.
Yeah, wow.
And I think that's beautiful.
Alex, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good.
It's good to hear.
Zed requested a fit check from everyone. Give us a tour, Max.
Alright, so got the White Sox hat because I love my White Sox. I realize I can't really stand up.
No, just, you know.
But yeah, so we got this button up, just a normal black shirt under that, some jeans, some jeans, and then these shoes, which I need to go get a new pair. These are Brooks, and I need to.
All right, new
holy shit,
term.
these things are
I went
falling
and
apart.
blasted my lizard.
No, that's
worse.
Okay,
All right.
see, you know,
That's even
Kira. No,
worse.
actually, don't put one in because Kira sent a donation to donate so that saying "blast off" is allowed.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Kira.
Okay.
But I already put a peanut in, so blasting your lizard is not allowed. So we'll just keep that peanut in.
Fantastic.
Half of.
Okay,
It's
no,
not
that
like
makes sense.
retroactive. So.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Do you want some noodles?
I'll give you my fit check too.
You get noodles.
I have a dandelion that Alex
Oh,
gave me
yeah.
in my hair.
You win right now.
And I'm hungover, so
Well,
I'm
I
wearing
got the small
sweatpants and a hoodie.
lo mein because the large lo mein is
Okay.
the size of my torso.
Well, I think I'm ready to get back to it.
Do you
Alright,
want to come?
let's-
I don't know if you have plates or you can also just take.
Are there plates? There's plates, right?
Let me see.
I have one.
Eli.
Because the mukbang is happening.
Or eat a mug or
Plum is
something.
wearing a Dodgers hat. I just want you to know
Oh.
that. Eli,
Well, that
that's gonna
sucks.
upset you.
I mean, you know, it's like.
Well, it was good while it lasted. Sorry.
Plum, if there's other streamers out there that are really cool, there's like a lot of nice ones I hear. You can check out that like Ludwig guy seems nice or whatever.
Oh wow,
No,
guys!
no,
This
Ludwig,
next
Ludwig,
fan
Ludwig.
fiction
I don't think so.
has an exciting
He likes
disclaimer,
support. I might be
and
wrong,
apparently there's
so
going
I'm
to be
not
no
gonna say that.
liberal woke
Inflammatory.
propaganda. So I'm excited to hear that
He's
one.
pretty woke.
See
Who's
if I'm
our
correct.
next fanfic by?
So our next fanfic is by longtime viewer and member, I believe, Celery Beans, aka
Oh,
Linnea.
nice.
Oh yeah.
So
Good.
let's.
Oh yeah, he defended
Get excited.
that singer that murdered.
Yeah, I suppose
like a
let's.
child.
Folks, are we ready to?
What?
Yeah.
We ready to read? Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wait, which one? I'm sorry. Can you repeat which one we're reading?
We're reading Ba-Ga by
Burger?
Linnea / Celery Beans.
Sounds like burger.
It kind of
Ga?
sounds like burger
Ga?
in a way.
Yay, Linnea!
It's actually the real title is Max Berger and the Demon of Doors.
That is the title, yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
hey.
wait. That's the main title. Subtitle is a comprehensive story about love, friendship, and the importance of domestic violence.
Wow, that's exciting. Okay, well here I'll read this disclaimer. Disclaimer: this is a work of fiction. Although people exist in real life, any resemblance to any specific person or event is entirely coincidental. Also, no artificial nor intelligence was used in the writing of this story. That's fantastic. Also, this story contains no pronouns because this is no liberal woke propaganda.
No.
All right. Max Berger and the Demon of Doors, a comprehensive story about love, friendship, and the importance of domestic violence.
Kayla, you needed another fork.
Eli,
or-
will you get?
Alright.
Will you
Do you
get
wanna? Maybe I can read directions.
Get me
and then you
some.
read the
Milk and
dialogue,
Grace are
maybe,
swapping
or-
seats for a sec. since
Sure, if you'd like to.
I
And
want-
then
She can be
I'll
close to
read.
the-
I'll read all the. Yeah, I'll read all the dialogue.
Cool. There was a boy at some point in time. This boy was no more average than the average boy of the time. However, there was one more thing that made this boy less average compared to the average boy. See, because this boy was named Max Berger.
I asked Eli if
Also-
there were plates so he would get me one, and he didn't.
Eli's being a meanie.
What do you guys eat? What do you guys?
I'm sharing my noodles.
Guys, we're doing like a fan fiction thing,
We're
not
doing-
like an
no,
eat thing.
It's a
This
fan
isn't
fiction
the
comedy.
mukbang
It's not a
stream.
mukbang
That's
thing.
in 4 weeks.
This is a read
The mukbang
thing. We're not
stream
doing a mukbang
is not this
thing.
weekend.
If you're gonna eat,
We
eat.
only have spoons, so.
All right, I'll
there.
divide up
I'm
these noodles.
hungry. Bugga.
All
I'm
right, folks.
gonna
Let's
put my temporarily.
let's be quick here.
I'm sorry.
I can vamp.
So you can go like blast off.
I can go blast
You can go
off.
beat
Yeah, I
your
can go
lizard
blast
off,
off. I can
but
Whoa! I never beat my lizard off. That's not
Whoa.
cool. No one said that. I
You can't
say
take
that.
a noodle break.
Which one are
You know,
we
let's
playing?
be, you know.
I don't know who is what, so I
I'm
don't
in the
know either.
freaking chat these days.
All right, sorry folks, we gotta figure out our noodle situation real quick.
I got this. I'll vamp.
Yeah, Grace, why don't
guys.
you vamp?
I'm gonna look into this camera. Hopefully that's the one that's on.
Yeah, but I can also just share with you.
Sorry, Grace.
I love how it's like hugging almost.
Okay, Grace vamping over. Back to story.
Yeah, I fucking killed that.
Very exciting. That was really good. All right. However, there was one thing that made this boy less average compared to the average boy. See, because this boy was named Max Burger. Also, Max Burger had no power. Most boys got powers before the 12 int lap around the sun. But this guy had already passed the first SAT with no result.
What a fool!
Max Burger's father said abusively, shooting a ray of fire at Max Burger.
Be ashamed!
Nice.
Father, no!
Max Burger was really sad, but was ultimately used to that. The family of this boy had no choice, leaving everything behind to start anew. Shaming this boy from the world was a necessity. None can know of Max Burger's existence. The new house was very disappointing. If walls could talk, these couldn't.
This renovation will be very expensive.
Max Burger's mother muttered, already having seen the whole house because this mother had teleportation powers and had already seen too much.
This sucks. Shut up, old man.
The father fathered, refusing to burn the house to the ground.
Be grateful.
The youngest brother, because there was only one, was only pleased because the attic could be the perfect place to meet the stars, and awaken the boy's power. Because unlike Max Burger, the younger brother was young enough to be powerless and was still accepted by the flow of time.
This will be Max Burger's room.
The father led Max Burger to the smallest and ugliest room. The one door led to the hallway, and the other led to the balcony. This would be a privilege if the balcony door was not broken. All the wind would go through this door and tickle Max Burger's cheeks when least wanted.
No. Splendid.
Max Burger said unsplendidly. The father, who was allergic to unpleasantries, became aggressive. 5 bruises later, Max Burger was left alone in the broken chambers.
That kind of sucks, man.
The broken door told Max Burger. Max Burger, who was not used to talking doors, had a reaction.
Gee whiz!
Chapter 2. There was a dinner in the dinner room. Some people call this a kitchen. The food was full of food that the family put inside the mouths. However, Max Burger disliked putting the food in the mouth. This made the father very angry and shot fire across the room. Max Burger ran for survival and hid in the ugly room. Max Burger tried to open the broken talking door to the balcony, but the door refused to budge.
Please, oh old door.
Max Burger pleaded as the father's footsteps only got closer and more aggressive.
Let Max Burger escape.
The door obeyed and opened, and Max Burger ran through.
Whoa! 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 Hear, hear, mortal imbecile.
Max Burger's head echoed in a voice that did not belong there.
This is the door of devils speaking. The devil of doors, possessing any person who dares pass through.
At this point, the whole family had assembled on the balcony, watching Max Burger's body writhe on the floor.
Stop this tomfoolery.
The father was very disappointed in the son's behavior. Only Max Burger could hear the demon's voice.
The gods call this demon Dorge Tracy. Where is the power to be consumed?
However, since Max Burger had no power, there was nothing to be consumed. Once Dorge Tracy had realized this, the demon soon left Max Burger's body to return to the old broken door where the demon belonged.
Stop being a dummy.
Max Burger's father was fed up with Max Burger's shenanigans.
No VTV for a month.
Fuck.
But father, the door possessed. Silly excuse. Go die or something.
Max Burger did not die, but was ultimately left alone in the bedroom as the family proceeded with so-called feeding time.
Dorge Tracy.
Max Burger gently caressed the doorframe.
Oh, why must Dorge Tracy be full of such evil? Please stop possessing people who pass through.
The George Tracy did not listen. The door was full of rage and lust for world domination.
This demon requires power.
The door complained in a whisper only Max Burger could hear.
Why is Max Burger powerless?
Max Burger shook Max Burger's head, a singular tear streaming down his cheek. George Tracy was very moved by this.
Unacceptable. How does one live without a power? One doesn't.
After this very emotional moment, Max Burger had an idea.
If George Tracy lusts for power, then why not let every person with a power pass through? After all, that is a lot of people and a lot of power.
George Tracy was very pleased to be supported by such a good friend. After fooling both father and mother through the doorframe, George Tracy had now absorbed the powers of fire and teleportation.
Remarkable!
George Tracy was very pleased.
Many people have walked through this door for the past century, and many powers have been absorbed without the people's knowledge. However, the powers reset every time a new person signs the contract for this house. In other words, for every new owner, George Tracy becomes a clean slate.
George Tracy explained.
Wow!
Max Burger had not paid attention to any of that, only reinforcing the Czechoslovakian gun.
Inconvenient. Now, boy!
George Tracy urged Max Burger through the door to possess the mortal being once again. This time, Max Burger did not experience excruciating pain. Instead, Max Burger felt immense power.
The power absorbed has now been transferred to Max Burger. After all, caring is sharing.
Max Burger tried out the new powers by shooting a ray of fire and teleporting on the spot.
What if more people walked through so the powers could be unstoppable?
George Tracy agreed. The time for world domination had only just begun.
Chapter 3.
Insert filler beach episode.
Chapter 4.
Max Burger and George Tracy had now taken over the world. Max Burger had fooled every single person through the door to steal those powers. However, all this power had made Max Burger very bored, and by using the powers from Father, Max Burger began to domestically abuse George Tracy. This made George Tracy very sad. Fortunately for George Tracy, Green Spider-Man trademark. However, he might shoot a funny web. We're gonna see. However, Max Burger was simply too strong to kill Green Spider-Man trademark.
Yes.
Sorry. Finally.
Max Burger had always wanted to know the true identity of Green Spider-Man trademark. Taking off the mask, Max Burger revealed what was underneath. A door. Max Burger opened the door. Behind the door was a blank canvas of face.
Eli!
George Tracy cried. Seeing the old arch nemesis die, George Tracy became evil.
Blank face Eli is also a point.
George Tracent. There was a very epic battle until both survived. That's when Max Burger's brother arrived, being newly awakened powers, the power of nukes.
Get in the door!
Max Burger wanted all powers.
No!
Lars refused to see the brother became so obsessed with power instead of the truth. So the brother dropped a truth nuke. Max Burger was filled with the desire to give the house to Lars, who signed the contract, thus deleted George Tracy's absorbed powers, and therefore also Max Burger's powers.
Right.
However, the nuke had also caused George Tracy's foot to explode.
Quick explosion, that's a point.
That's gotta be a point.
That's the canon
This
event
happens
for
in
you.
all of them.
It
Yeah,
happens
it's
in
gonna
every
be, yeah.
universe.
In every, even when you're a fucking evil door.
He was domestically abused. Domestically abused.
Domestic.
George Tracy.
Max Burger held the dying demon in the arms while crying tears of immense sadness.
Please do not die, George Tracy. Max Burger loves George Tracy. George Tracy is Max Burger's best friend.
George Tracy smiled before dying in Max Burger's arms. The sadness also made Max Burger die. Slut.
Wow.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. From beginning the trope where like people get powers at a certain age to just brilliant. Absolutely
That was
brilliant.
unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful stuff.
Wow.
Damn.
We should adapt this to the screen.
This is,
By the way, I did make a quotes channel in the Discord, so they were asking
fantastic.
for that. So
Okay,
Wow.
fantastic stuff.
That was so funny.
I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end this freaking TikTok live stream because my phone's gonna die. Bye.
Oh,
All right.
goodness graciones.
All right.
Also,
Fantastic
thank you
stuff.
for the
That
noodles,
was violent.
Alex.
Really
that was violent
exciting.
and scary.
The what?
Look
The
at us
noodles.
go.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay.
Are there more?
You want some
Great.
noodles?
Can I have some noodles, please? You could just use Michaela's plate.
The
if
noodles are
that's okay.
so fucking good.
Could you? Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Our next fan fiction is from our resident Chloe.
Oh, apparently
Um,
slut means end, the end in Swedish.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Does
That's
it?
right. I knew that.
That's
yeah.
a thing?
I
Yeah.
kind of liked it more when I didn't know.
No,
I like that I didn't know.
I remember
I
the meme that was going around for a while was like the end of in like a Swedish
Slut.
theater. It was the end of Finding Nemo and or Finding Dory, and at the end it said the end, and so on the end of Finding Dory it just said slut in big letters, which is
Like,
pretty
that's
exciting.
so funny to me.
That's fantastic. Good for you, Swedes. All right. This one's long time coming. Is this
Pass
for?
that to Grace.
This is for Grace.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is submitted by alternate universe Napoleon, who we know
will
is
be
Chloe.
back.
Chloe. I don't think is Chloe here.
I don't know. I don't know if Chloe's here. But if you are, hello. George and Harvey discover the secrets of the universe. So we have some Harvey here. We have some Stardew Valley here. Chapter 1. Everything was beautiful.
Aw.
And we'll start with the author's note. Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm 20 years old and a university student. I sometimes write sad and thoughtful things because I believe that if you have something stuck inside of you and you don't get it out, you'll get sick. So, without further ado, this is my story. On just a public notice note, thank you to the lovely Erin for proofreading. Please note that this is a work of fiction only. It is a love story, but it is also a conversation. I hope you enjoy.
I'm sure I will.
P.S. P.S. At the bottom of this story is a list of songs that I listened to while writing. If you're interested, that's really cool and swaggy. Fantastic. Pelican Town had all the picturesque, salt-stained country gothic imagery of a future postcard town with none of the awareness that this was the direction the town was heading in. Sorry. Burp.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Burp matching.
Great. It was a verdant hideaway, often left off maps entirely. It boasted a population of about 30 cloistered around the sea-facing township, though the geographic boundaries of the town stretched far beyond where it was populated, nearly to where the apple orchards crept to the mountains on the northern side of Stardew Valley. There was a house in every color in the town, and well-tended flower gardens. The air was thick with the scent of salt and pine, which smothered the valley and seemed to flourish evergreen. Everything seemed only a 10-minute walk away from the town square. In narrative terms, it was the time of place that naturally beautiful but understated FMC would return to when her future stagnates.
What's FMC?
I'm not sure. Where the job she once worked tirelessly at became monotonous, and the once bright colors of the city bled like watercolor into a puddle of gray in the gutter. It was a pretty scene. It was honestly quite charming. He'd even go as far to call it idyllic. But despite the small amount of optimism the appearance of the town gave him, it was not enough to settle the churning anxiety in George's gut as they took a right down the dirt road leading to his grandparents' farm on the west side of town. It was pretty, but it was also new and cut off from the world George occupied, the comfortable world.
Oh.
The world that held...
FMC means female main character.
Oh, great, awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, no, okay, I see it. I like that. The world that held everything that meant something. It was the type of place the ego went to die. Ever since the accident, George had spent a lot of time inside.
Explosion mentioned.
Yeah.
Wait, where?
Ever since the accident.
Because George had spent a lot of time inside and bored out of his mind. He had thought that maybe all the free time he spent in his old room in his parents' house while healing his shattered ankle might be put to good use. He might not have been able to go into work, but he could still think. He could still write. He was somewhere new, and maybe that was what his brain needed to motivate him out of the creative slump he'd found himself in. Grandpa Winston began unloading his luggage before he was even out of the car. "I'm not so old I can't unload a trunk, Georgie." His grandpa laughed, a sort of guffawing sound he had never heard from anyone else. It had been a long time since George had seen his grandparents, almost 5 years. This immediately made him feel guilty. He missed them, sure, but he had never made an effort to drive out to see them, even though they only lived a few hours away by car. He had exhausted more effort going to see a concert for a band he'd never even heard of because Lars had a spare ticket. They were getting older, and it was weighing more heavily on his consciousness how transient they and everything else was. He didn't want to regret not spending enough time with them before they were gone. His grandma hugged him at the door, marveling at how tall he had grown. His grandpa helped him get his stuff through the small bedroom at the west side of the house, where the afternoon sun would really do him some good. Once all his stuff was inside, he sat and breathed. They had dinner plans at the town saloon, which apparently had a very good dish called chicken parmigiana, and George was too tired to argue that he didn't really feel like leaving the house, so off they went. The Stardrop Saloon, which he had to admit was quite a romantic name. Had the sort of rustic, homely feel of the pubs he'd known in Chicago, almost like the Galway Arms, though this wasn't a place George found himself in at any frequency, and really neither were pubs in general, but he knew enough about what they'd be like. He'd seen Cheers 8 times. At least. Popcorn Grace.
I'm scared.
It lacked the violinist in the corner, what's that word?
Rosining
A bow, or the gentle tap of microphone feedback, or Guinness on tap. Not a great loss, because despite tasting like black coffee, he'd never really developed a taste for it. But the lighting was warm and it smelled like stale beer, which is how pubs should smell. There was a Fleetwood Mac song playing and he recognized but didn't know the name of, playing from the old-timey jukebox next to the bar. It was really cool, actually. Overall, it was exactly what George had been expecting. They chose a booth in the back corner. There were a few people milling about who his grandmother delighted in telling him about. Gus, the owner, was a real treasure. Then there was Lewis, the town mayor, who took note of their presence but did not approach them. Standing in with a red-headed woman named Marnie, who his grandmother informed him ran the ranch south of their farm and was, by all reports, a gem. By this point, George wasn't really paying attention because he was thinking about Cheers. But he felt a visceral embarrassment as his grandpa stood back, waiting for him to take his seat in the booth first. It was a gentle, kind gesture. He knew that. His grandparents cared deeply. He just wished he could be a little bit more independent. As if on cue, his ankle gave a low throb that threatened to rob him of breath. But he's...
Sorry.
Just throb. No worries. Don't. Oh, no.
Oh, it hurts.
But he schooled his expression straight. Not wanting to give his grandparents any more cause for concern, they sat and his grandma immediately began a story about getting the time a group of bikers came into the pub en route to a music festival happened in Calico in the 60s, wanting to impress the beautiful girl and someone convinced I wasn't a complete idiot too. He had approached the table of ruffians and asked to join their game. What resulted in an evening to remember. Parkour, Michaela. I'm stuttering too much. I gotta give it up.
Okay, you're good, kid.
I gotta give it up. Stuttering too much.
What resulted
It's
in
very
an
small.
evening to remember, though his grandma certainly had things to say about how she remembered it. It ended with a trip to the town clinic. I didn't know I was gonna need my glasses today. Okay. Grandpa with a pretty nasty concussion, and walking poor old Dr. Michael, who was less than impressed with the town's use and had told them as such, very passionately. By then, a chirpy barmaid with brilliant blue hair, whose name tag read Emily, appeared to take the orders. George ordered a chicken parmy. He was told it was called because the power of suggestion was strong when you were bad at making choices on the spot, and the waitress bounded off as happily as she'd arrived. The trek back to the The trek back to the farmhouse, was painful but not agonizing. He had left his painkillers at home, but he'd eaten at a reasonable time, so at least they'd be effective immediately without making him feel sick. They walked back in silence, and George tilted his head back to look up at the stars. In the city, they were... Oh my gosh, guys, I need to turn this sideways. I'm so
That's
sorry.
okay. You want my glasses?
I'm blind. It's not gonna help. I only have one bad eye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
No.
weird.
You need a monocle.
Weird.
Like a fancy old man.
That's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying not to wear my glasses so that I just get
Be
a monocle
hilarious.
or an eye patch.
No, but imagine if somebody like, hey, Michaela, can you take a look at this? Yeah, no problem. Let me,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
Or like,
friend
the, you know,
suggestion
like
on
the
Facebook.
cash for gold stores
Oh,
when like the
yeah.
guys like
Yeah,
look at
no,
the
Right underneath.
That'd be cool.
He was suggested to me the other day too.
What the hell?
Teddy's getting suggested to us as a suggested friend on Facebook.
Oh, that's exciting.
Right above my low balance
do
notification.
Don't
that's
do
alright.
it.
Things are looking up.
Sorry.
Because we're up right now. And you suck right now.
Oh, and that was okay. In the
Sorry,
city.
didn't like that.
Okay. Sorry. Reading's hard.
That's okay.
It is
They
hard.
walked back in silence, and George tilted his head back to look up at the stars. In the city, they were never so clear, and that was definitely a stereotype, but it held true. The air smelled of salt, and it was a cool evening, but it wasn't muggy, despite it almost being summer. He could have foregone his coat entirely, but he liked the fabric and the act of being dressed up, and if he took it off, he'd have to carry it on his arm, and he just didn't really want to do that.
Yeah.
More importantly,
It's
there were
more accurate.
mosquitoes biting his neck, which shouldn't have surprised him. Only he couldn't remember the last time he'd been stung by one. He pressed his fingers into the swell of his neck, already itching, and smoothed out the blood, streaking it on his neck. It was sticky on his fingers, so he put his hand in his pocket to rub it off. When they were inside, his grandma offered him a cup of tea, but George refused, citing tiredness. He made sure to hug both his grandparents before heading into the spare bedroom that would, at least for the near future, be his sanctuary, and he flopped down on the bed. It wasn't too late to get some work done, he knew that, but thought of getting up again and crossing the room to get his laptop and notebook out of his bag prevented him. Instead, he opened his phone and responded to the text from his parents, wishing him well, telling him to call as soon as he was settled in, reaffirming that he could come back as soon as he was ready to return to Chicago and the rest of reality. But then he clicked through the spam emails before archiving the whole lot and putting his phone back down and staring up at the fan. Eventually, he got up and got himself ready for bed. Only then did he finally open his laptop. He put on a random playlist and then decided it was the Beatles' mood. So he put on Abbey Road and he wrote a few lines of dialogue before he shut his laptop and decided to go to sleep. George!
Before. Everything was beautiful and nothing hurt. Those words would very quickly become haunting. Everything was beautiful. And nothing hurt.
Kurt Vonnegut reference, that's a point.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Gag.
It means everything and nothing. And George would learn soon enough how wrong they were, because almost everything hurt that day and in the months that followed. It was an unusually heavy day of snowfall, but that just made the skiing better, as far as he was concerned. The trip was a spur-of-the-moment decision. There was 30 centimeters falling consistently, so they packed the car and made the 3-hour trek west to the resort. It was busy. They got a room and were on the slopes the same day. It was on the third day when it happened. And the thing about it that really gets him is how utterly preventable it was. It was just a freak accident. It could have happened to anyone. One moment, George was preparing to descend. He had been down the slope hundreds of times. There was a moment, the pause, the inhale, the anxious thump of a heart preparing for a drop. It was the moment when the curtains rose. The conductor rose baton and the musicians took their final breath before the piece began. It was the sticky, hot lights of the studio set. There was a signal. They were about to roll. Then the first note, exhilarating in the departure from silence. The wind was cold in his lungs. The trees blurred by in a green mass. He couldn't exactly wear his glasses while skiing. Everything was fuzzy. Then the pianist played a B flat, and the adjudicator cringed. The musicians stayed focused. The piece continued. All of a sudden, the static thickened. Everything was beautiful. It was hurtful. Everything hurt. There was an inferno inside his ankle. There was the repetition of that sickening crunch he wouldn't be sure had come from his body if it wasn't for the pain of it turning everything to static. There was the screaming of his mind from his head hitting the ground. He was probably concussed. He could be dying. It was cold enough to die. There were enough people around that he would be found, not buried layer upon layer in the snow until it cooled enough to melt back some of the layers of snow, and some tourist found his preserved corpse and he traumatized someone forever. It was cold, and his chest hurt. He could hardly draw breath, and it was still snowing, scattered like rain down a window and bitingly cold. It was stinging his fingers even through the gloves. And there was the sting of the cold snow-covered earth against his back as he lay there on fire. The sky was an endless white as he fell, but was becoming red from the pain he was certain, in that continuous moment, would never end. Everything was beautiful, though. If everything was the snowflakes coming to rest on his cheeks, everything was beautiful. Song list for Chapter 1. Number 1. All My Ghosts. Lizzie McAlpine. Rhiannon, Fleetwood Mac. Across the Universe, The Beatles. Across the Universe, Fiona Apple. Golden Slumbers, The Beatles. Something, The Beatles. Dream Brother, Jeff Buckley.
Woo!
Fantastic, graphic.
I really
And
love
more or
how
less
much
accurate.
every single one has mentioned the foot explosion.
They've all mentioned the foot explosion. This one went into graphic detail. I will let you in on a little secret. The song I was listening to when my foot cracked and I crumbled and I died and was Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys. Which
Wow.
is so now I can't hear that song without
Without your foot exploding?
Yeah.
Thinking, yeah.
I
didn't.
Little Saint Nick.
I also
Yeah, it's
never.
fucked up.
I never realized people listen to music while they ski for some reason.
Oh my
I
god,
never thought about that.
it's so fun.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You
It's
reach
the
a
best,
flow
dude.
state,
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
style.
Never skiing.
Yeah, it's sick.
I love it. It's so good.
No,
Wonderful,
I'm all good.
wonderful, Chloe. Thank you so much. What a wonderful story. And there are more chapters. Well, let's look and see at the look at the other ones first before coming back to this. Okay, this one is from Plumsicle. It says Family Relapse Draft.
Oh, I love it.
Oh shit.
What could this be?
Oh my god, I'm excited.
Okay. Oh wow. Wait. Is this Family Relapse fan fiction?
Oh, where's Max?
Oh my god. Let me grab Max Burger and pee again.
Don't fall in.
At the same time? Or?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, wait. I'll just go around this way. I don't have to climb on the thing. All right.
This is classy.
Be right back. Grace,
Okay,
Vamp.
Helga.
Oh, Vamp. I'm really hoping that there's gonna be some WLW Jordan Roosevelt moments.
Me too.
That would be fantastic.
I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
Quentin should show his titties.
I've been saying that.
I've been saying that. I hope they all go pizza.
And they go like this.
Yeah,
Because if you didn't know, Jordan becomes canonically a lesbian after.
she does.
She gets her groove back.
Also,
She gets her groove back. She was never in love with that fucking man.
She does.
She was in love with power and
Power,
success.
yes!
Yes.
She's a top.
She does call Opie Jonas at some point, and they do hook up.
Yeah, you have to make some,
She never called him again.
of course.
Of course.
But,
And then-
but he wrote like a whole album about
Whole
Jordan.
Oh my
album.
god, and it was so bad.
It was
bad.
a
It
really
not
bad
good.
album. It was produced weird. It had a lot of synth and harmonica, which you would
It
never
did.
expect
No.
from the Jonas Brothers.
You wouldn't.
You would never expect
Especially
that.
Opie.
Oh my gosh, and the banjo. That
Oh,
was
it's mostly
crazy.
Bradley focused.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, Bradley does feature
No
on about
Jonas
3
Brothers.
tracks. About 3 tracks.
Yeah, Bradley has a
Bradley
yeah.
does feature on the Jonas Brothers' new
Yeah.
album. It is called
Someone
Milk
said-
and Wine.
Someone said
and,
Plum, edit it quick.
Hot dog. It's a
Okay.
hot dog.
I wonder
Sorry,
if
it's a hot
Bradley's
dog.
foot will
Back to it.
explode in this one.
Sorry, I took the.
That's okay.
I took over. I took over.
Alright.
This is my good friend Michaela Kando.
Thought it was dope.
Thank you.
Now I have the
Okay.
Little Saint Nick stuck in my head, and I don't want to sing it because I don't want to trigger.
Little Saint
What's something
Nick.
else we can have stuck in our head? Coming
Coming
out of my cage and I'll be doing just
All right.
They come together with their
This is just
beards.
titled
And they-
Family Relapse Draft. I suppose this is some sort of family relapse fan fiction. I'm not seeing any dialogue so far, so we'll continue on a popcorn read.
Popcorn.
And I suppose I will begin. Eli, there's a couple of Max Burgers on screen.
5 more Max
Cool.
Burgers.
I'm gonna read that as yes.
No.
Okay. Prologue. The show had ended 3 weeks ago. Not metaphorically, not in the way that sitcoms fade into syndication, with reruns playing in some hollow afterlife. The show was over. The credits roll. Names frozen on a black screen before the algorithm auto-suggested something else. Something newer. Something that hadn't already said everything it had to say. The cameras were gone. The crew had packed up their C-stands and their specialized equipment and their clipboards full of shot lists.
Ooh.
The soundstage stood empty now, lights off, the fourth wall eerily quiet and surprisingly solid. Bradley Roosevelt knew this because 2 weeks ago, he walked through it. The wall. The invisible membrane between the world that was written and the world that some force decided was real. He had pressed his palm against it 2 weeks ago, in the aftermath of everything. It gave way like a wet tissue. He put one foot through, then the next. He had stood in the dark, among the unused equipment and dust floating in shafts of gray light, and he had felt the absence of a narrative, like a physical thing. He was a blobfish that came up from the depths too quickly. The lack of that all-encompassing pressure made his body scream. He stepped back. Because what else was he supposed to do? The story may be finished, but he wasn't. Dick was dead, and Kermit was in AA, and Jordan was packing boxes in her childhood bedroom to return to adult life.
Get her groove
And
back.
none of that felt like an ending. It felt like a comma, or maybe an M dash, if it dared. A hinge
Well, no,
swing-
only AI does M dashes.
True.
So
A hinge swinging on a door that hadn't decided which way to close. So Bradley stayed. He stayed in the old house, with its sagging porch and its radiator that clanked like a ghost shaking chains, and its walls and the color of cigarette smoke. He stayed even though everyone else seemed to be moving on. Jordan with her boxes and her calls to lawyers, Kermit with a shiny silver chip in his trembling hands, Quintain with his guilt and his theater connections and his desperate need to be forgiven that couldn't be forgiven.
Oh my
couldn't be
God.
unforgiven. Bradley
Sorry.
stayed, and he kept making things. 1. The back porch faced east, which meant the morning sun hit first, smiling through the bare branches of the maple tree and painting everything in shades of amber and rust. Bradley sat on the top step with his sketchbook open on his knees, his charcoal sticks leaving smudges on his fingers, his breath fogging in the autumn air. He wasn't drawing anything remotely recognizable. That was kind of the point. For the past 2 weeks, he'd filled page after page with the same image. The doorway. Nothing specific. It wasn't the front door of the house or the back door of a soundstage or some cheap pearly gates metaphor. Just a doorway. An opening. A rectangle. A threshold that led somewhere that couldn't be seen from this side. Sometimes the doorway was open. Sometimes it was closed. Sometimes there was light bleeding through the cracks. Sometimes there was nothing but dark. He had 36 versions so far. He was going to make more. He didn't know why. He just knew that when he set down the charcoal and looked out at the world, the one with the dying maple tree and the chipping paint and the sound of his sister taping boxes shut, he felt like he was forgetting something important.
You're going to catch a cold.
Jordan's voice came from inside the kitchen, filtered through the screen door. Bradley didn't turn around. He could see her reflection in the window of the neighbor's garage. He appeared in a spear of movement, the flash of black curls, the particular way she leaned her hip against the doorframe when she was pretending to be casual. Maybe I'll do Bradley, you can do directions. I'm wearing a coat.
Bradley said.
That's a sweatshirt, and it's Dick's, which means it's got a hole in the left armpit. That's not keeping anything warm.
The whole adds character.
The hole lets in wind.
Bradley scratched another line across the page. This doorframe tilted slightly, like it was tired of standing upright.
Oh, sorry. Thought you'd have... Is that me?
I think so.
I think... Okay. Thought you'd have embraced wind. living in Chicago. That was my...
She snorted. It was a good sound that was surprised out of her. He heard the screen door creak open, felt the shift in pressure as she stepped out onto the porch. He smelled the coffee in the mug she was carrying. She sat down on the step beside him, close enough that their shoulders almost touched, far enough that she could pretend she was giving him space.
School called.
What did you tell them?
That you're still processing?
Am I? Jordan took a sip of her coffee. She was wearing one of Dick's button-downs, faded red and black, sleeves rolled up 3 times. She had been wearing it every day for the past week. Bradley hadn't mentioned it. He wasn't sure if she knew she was doing it.
I don't know what you're doing.
She said finally.
You're not going back to school. You're not looking for a job. You just sit out here every morning drawing the same picture over and over again.
She paused.
Which is fine for a time, but people are talking.
People?
Quintain, mostly. The neighbors who keep asking me if you're back on adult dosages.
Bradley's charcoal stick snapped. He looked at the broken pieces in his fingers, the black dust smearing across his palm, the sharp edge of the larger fragment pressing into his skin. For a moment, he felt something hot and bright flicker in his chest. Was it anger? Or maybe it was exhaustion? Resignation? It was hard to tell the difference these days. Let them talk, he said. But maybe you can tell the neighbors to stop digging through our trash like raccoons.
That's not...
Jordan set her mug down on the step between them. The ceramic clinked against the wood.
Bradley, I'm not trying to fix you anymore, okay? But I need to know that you're not...
She stopped. Swallowed.
That you're not waiting for something.
Bradley turned to look at her. The morning light caught the side of her face, illuminating the fine lines around her eyes that hadn't been there a year ago. Her hair was pulled back into a messy ponytail, strands escaping around her temples. Her jaw was set in that particular way it had been since she was 12 years old. The first time, and their father had forgotten to pick her up from school for the 18th time that month. It looked exhausting. She looked like someone who had spent 32 years being written into corners and only now realizing she could walk out of them.
Damn.
I'm not waiting, Bradley said. I'm making something.
Making what?
He held up the sketchbook. The doorway stared back at them. Crooked, half-shaded lines stared back at them. The lines of its frame bed into the negative space around it like it was dissolving. It's a way out, he explained. Or a way in. I haven't decided yet. Jordan studied the drawings for a moment. Her expression was neutral as she flipped through.
I'll admit, I don't get it.
She sighed, passing the book back over to Bradley.
But I trust it's part of your whole Carpe Diem thing?
Something like that, he said. But he rolled the charcoal between his fingers, watching them stain his fingers black. It's easy to say I'm going to do what I want. I'm finding it hard to actually do. She took a sip of her coffee and looked out the distance.
Is doors what you want? All those rectangles?
Are boxes what you want? Those are just cubes, Bradley retorted. They both offer exit opportunity.
You got me there?
They sat there for a while, side by side on the back porch, the autumn wind tugging at their hair and the neighbor's cat picking its way through the fallen leaves. The radiator clanked inside the house. Somewhere down the street, a car backfired. Bradley found his mind drift to the writer. Not this author, mind you. The writer. He thought about the way the man had looked 3 weeks ago, standing on the other side of that fourth wall with his silver-rimmed glasses and his worn cardigan and his hands shoved into his pockets like he didn't know what else to do with them. What does he do now? The show was over. The cameras were off. The writer had done his job, or failed at it, depending on how you measure success, and now he was just there, a spectator. A ghost haunting a house that wasn't really his. Bradley wondered if the writer thought his existence was lonely. He wondered if he had anyone to sit with him on cold autumn mornings.
I'm going to start prepping some big furniture today.
Jordan said, pulling him back to the present.
Kermit says I can take the china cabinet with me, the one Grandma left.
That's generous of him.
So generous. It would have fit amazingly in a one-bedroom downtown apartment.
She said sarcastically.
It's going straight to the local theater in desperate need of props, but I'm glad to see him trying.
Trying. With 2/3 of a third-day chip and his trembling hands and his tearful confession at the funeral. I killed my son. I killed him his whole life. Kermit was trying. Kermit repeated his "hello, my name is" to a room full of strangers and meant every word. It likely would never be enough, but it was something. Need help packing? Bradley asked. Jordan looked at him surprised.
Really?
Really? But I'm keeping the only weird green glass one, the one that glows in the dark.
I think that's radioactive.
Makes the food taste better, probably. She smiled. It was small and tired and didn't reach her eyes, but it was real. They were rare on her face since the funeral.
Okay.
She said.
Why not?
The writer was sitting on the plastic chair on the porch when Bradley came outside. He never appeared in a mystical apparition. He would just sometimes would be there, in the way that things that had always been there were there. The chipped plastic creaked gently under his weight as he shifted. His hands rested on his knees, palms up, like he was waiting for something to be placed in them. He looked different than he had 3 weeks ago. Not older exactly. The cardigan hung looser on his shoulders. The circles under his eyes had darkened from gray to purple. His hair was longer, flipping over his collar in a way that suggested he hadn't had the energy to cut it. But his glasses were still crooked. His lips were still chapped. He smelled like peanuts and old paper and something metallic, like ink or blood or both. "You still here?" Bradley said. The writer didn't look up. "So are you." "The show is over." "I know." "So why are you still here?" The wind whistled behind them. A leaf skittered across the wooden floorboards. "Because you are," the writer said finally. "You keep..." He gestured vaguely at the sketchbook Bradley was still holding. "You keep making things. Doorways. Thresholds, liminal spaces." He paused. "You're trying to keep the story going." Bradley sat down on the step across from the writer at the edge of the porch. There he could see the whole picture. The sagging chair, the man in the sweater, the way the morning light caught the dust floating between them. "I'm not trying to keep your story going," Bradley said. "I thought I made that clear." "Clear as dirt," the writer huffed. "It feels kind of listless in your arc right now." Bradley thought about it. The charcoal dust was still smeared against his palm, black against the pale lines of his lifeline. He pressed his thumb into it and watched the pattern shift. "I don't know," he admitted. "But I'm not going to stop trying just because you turned off the cameras." The writer's mouth twitched. It was something. A crack in the mask. "You haven't changed much." "They all still think you're crazy," the writer said. "Your family, your sister, your school. They think you're having a breakdown. They think the grief is manifesting as," he waved a hand, "grunge-core mornings and this. Talking to yourself. Staring at walls. Obsessive sketching. Are they wrong? They're not entirely right." Bradley set the sketchbook down on the step beside him. The doorway drawing faced up, the charcoal lines stark against the cream paper. The writer glanced at it, and something flickered across his face. It was gone as quick as it came. "Why do you keep showing up?" "Just to repeat the obvious?" Bradley asked. "If the show is over, if you're done." The writer was quiet for a long moment. The wood in the porch creaked. Somewhere upstairs, Jordan taped another box shut. The sound of packing tape peeled off the roll sharp as a splinter. "I don't know," the writer said finally. "I'm proud of this show, of the work we've done. But I thought..." He stopped, ran a hand through his hair, messing it up further. "I thought if I watched you long enough, I'd figure out why I still feel like something went wrong. Have you?" "No," the writer laughed. It was hollow, more of a huff of air than something with humor. "I just keep watching, and you keep drawing, and neither of us really know how to push forward." Bradley studied him. The writer was young, well, older than Bradley, but younger than he had thought. When the fourth wall was still wall still felt solid. Mid-20s, maybe. The kind of young that looked old, worn down by things that hadn't happened yet, but already felt inevitable. His hands were still resting on his knees, palms up, empty. Waiting, Bradley thought. He's waiting for someone to put something in them. Do you have a name? Bradley asked. The writer shifted sharply. What? A name. Something you call yourself. The writer's throat worked. He looked down at his empty palms as the calluses on his fingers that Bradley hadn't noticed before. I don't think I get one while I'm here, he said quietly. I was the writer when there was a show to write. Now there's nothing. I'm a character now. So I'm just... He shrugged. I'm just guy on porch. Not a bad guy to be. Not a great guy either. The wind picked up, rattling the bare branches of the tree. A few leaves ripped from the highest limbs, spiraling down in harried arcs. One landed in a crack between a board. A small, brown thing curled at the edges. Why do you write? Bradley asked. The writer's eyebrows drew together. What? Before, when there was a show. Why did you do it? Why did you write us? The writer stared at him. For a moment, Bradley thought he wasn't going to answer, that he would just let the question dissolve into the ether. But then his shoulders dropped. His jaws loosened. Something in his expression shifted, like a door opening onto a room he'd forgotten he had. I think I wanted to make something that felt surreal, but real. Something that hurt the way real things hurt. Because he paused, swallowed. If I could write that, then maybe I wouldn't have to feel it myself. Bradley waited. Didn't work, obviously, the writer continued. His voice was softer now, almost inaudible over the strengthening winds. I made you all miserable, and I was still miserable. I gave Dick the death I was too afraid to see in my life, and I'm still here, still writing, still watching. He looked up, meeting Bradley's eyes for the first time. Bradley thought about his sketchbook, because his mind turning to Dick at this moment would be too much. He thought about the thick charcoal lines splitting the paper, about the lines he kept drawing because he couldn't stop, because if he stopped, he might forget the lines existed at all. Are you happy? Bradley asked. The way the writer's fingers curled into his palms, closing them finally, the way his shoulders tensed, the way his eyes went wide and then shuttered, like he was slamming a door on something he didn't want seen. On a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 0 to 1. I don't know, the writer admitted. Does anyone? Bradley shrugged. End of draft. Outline below.
Yay!
Holy moly.
That was incredible.
That was fucking awesome.
That was
amazing.
unreal.
Really
It's-
wonderful work.
It's so cool to see how much people love the characters and like put so much love into the way that they write them.
Yeah.
Like, that's really like taking good care of us.
Yeah, there's like a you get a moment there where it's like a get out of my head kind of, but that was awesome. Jesus. I don't know, to have the characters especially like written about by somebody else feels very cool.
That's so lit.
And
Like,
it's so awesome to see them also like written in a way that is so them.
It's very accurate. No, it's a very like
I felt like Jordan as fuck.
Yeah. Wow. And that's
What did your
and isn't
bracelet
that and ain't that the TV
My
of it?
bracelet says Jordan.
Oh.
Jordan's getting her groove back.
Jordan
What?
getting her pizza.
Okay.
Oh,
What?
Jordan would never do that.
Yeah.
She would never do
All right, it's over. Fuck, back it up.
All
Jordan would
right.
hate Grace. And that's gorgeous. That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah. Freaking wonderful job,
Holy
everybody.
shit, totally.
So awesome.
I
Thank
think
you so much, Plum.
yeah.
Post
Jeez.
Plum?
Yeah.
Fucking damn.
Damn. We got a bunch of wonderful, incredible writers in our audience. Who would have
Look at
thought?
this.
That was so fun.
Yeah, this is
so
very
fun.
cool. Oh,
Oh.
you got like a dope.
Yeah, but something you want
talking.
to
Just keep talking.
share
All
with the
right.
class?
All right. God, yeah. No, it's just so cool. I don't know. it's the very like TV thing of it, where like you know when you sometimes you hear about like halfway through like a season, like one of the writers is gone, but it still feels right, you know?
Yeah, it still feels...
Because it was never about the writer. It was about, you know, there's a specific thing that was found, and that thing can be found and carry on. You know, that's very cool. That felt great.
I fuck with that.
Yeah, thank you everyone for sending these in. These were really, really fantastic. This was a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I think the more, you know, we'll definitely there's the slut. There's the Finding Nemo slut. I'm a slut for Finding Nemo. But the movie, not Nemo. Don't be inappropriate.
no,
Mrs. Sanders' fourth grade class is watching.
I knew you meant the movie. That doesn't change the fact that you said that you're a slut.
Oh, sorry. I guess I shouldn't say that. Is that a peanut? That's a peanut? That's a peanut? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know the rules. Well, gosh almighty, folks. I don't know if we have any more material to go off of here. I think in the future we'll absolutely do more things that allow our very talented and creative audience to, write and so on.
We could improvise
What
fan
was-
fiction.
We can improvise.
What was the one fan fiction that like when you heard this was happening, you were like, I hope someone writes about this?
Oh, wait, what do you mean?
My brain went somewhere completely else. I thought other people were going to send us just fan fiction that they wanted us to read out loud.
Oh, yeah,
That would be fun too.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
Also would be really
I think
fun.
it'd even be funny to do that with like something that like we have no idea this piece of media.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
fan
That
People have their
fiction.
favorite fan fiction that they just know is insane and just wants to be.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
that'd be
I enjoy
fun.
that.
One time, me and
That's
my
a
friend
lot of fun.
split
But
a giant
he's
bottle of
right.
wine and read Woody X Buzz fanfiction.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, I like that.
Grace
Yeah.
and I had a Monsters Inc. fan fiction night. It was Sully and Mike. It was.
That's nice, yeah. I can see how that was. They're kind of
Tantalizing.
made for each other.
Did
Tantalizing.
you read it or did you write the fanfic?
Oh, we read it out loud.
Okay.
We just popcorn.
Well, I think that's probably the end of the road for our stream today. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted things. Thank you so much to our members. Thank you so much if you donated. It is so unbelievable that we get to do this and that we have all of you guys at home enjoying it and contributing to it. Even if you're somebody who can just leave a like on a video or even just give it a little bit of your attention for
Or
a moment.
hype it.
Or hype
Hyping
it.
is good.
Yeah, always
Hyping
hype
is
all
good.
videos. It actually works. I've
does.
noticed.
And if you can
so,
send sunshine
yeah.
too.
You can send sunshine as well.
Sunshine.
Send Michaela some sunshine, please. She'd enjoy it.
Michaela loves
But I
sunshine.
think that is all we've got for you today. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, it means so much to us. We love you all so much. And we cannot wait to see you next time. We have some really insane things coming your way.
Yeah, thank you
yes.
so much, guys.
Go BTV.
Go BTV.
Go BTV, go BTV!
Yay!
Grace is clapping like a baby. So. And so is Michaela. So that's exciting. Oh no, Michaela's very serious.